And this week on Motivation and Confidence, we have Tanya J. Miller, life coach, strategist, and author, talking about what is your purpose. Stay tuned. All right, everybody worldwide, you're now tuned into Motivation and Confidence, where we help you do your daily best. And I'm your host, Tom Danger. Tell us about, what you got going on and what got you started on this path of helping people and what's been your painful experience or your prideful experience or your enlightenment moment? What has brought you thus far?
Sure. So basically, I'm Tanya, life coach, author, speaker, strategist, but kind of just how I got started. So I've been having my blog called Talking Tanya probably since '05. And people are like, wait a minute, you don't even look like you old enough to been doing something since '05. But yeah, since '05. And it was basically started out back in the day. We didn't have the social media that we have now. So it was just Hotmail, AOL, blackpanther.com, email. But basically, I just kind of wanted to encourage people. And so that's like my tagline. One of them that I use still today came from that. I wanted to help you figure out how to fit the puzzle pieces of life together so you can do life right and well, because literally life can get crazy and you always trying to figure out, okay, what I do next, how this fit, how that go. And so it was just kind of starting from that, and just the fire from loving to write, being an author, helping people, encouraging. It just kind of went to this now. The crazy part is I originally started the blog as part of a nonprofit, and then I had a separate business that I did business consulting as in. And so to basically what you see now in my brand, Tanya J. Miller, and as an author, speaker, coach, is the marrying of the two and making the sense for what I should have, not what I wasn't doing then, but where the path actually was taking me to. So I'm grateful for that journey as well as this one now. But that's kind of how I got started.
Okay. Now, as far as your coaching is concerned, do you have a particular niche that you deal with, or the particular topics that you help people with? Or is it pretty much just whatever that person needs help with?
Well, so this is how I am when it comes to coaching. I pretty much feel that we need to kind of talk, kind of have that, that introductory, if you will, session, because I know I'm not for everybody, and I know everybody not for me either. And so that, number one, is how, before even trying to get into a niche and trying to see if, say I coach everything and I do everybody, I need to make sure you're going to flow with me and can take me how I am. And, I actually can serve and meet your needs, but the pillars of my brand and what you will see over and above and everything I do is purpose, passion, vision, and destiny. So a lot of what you see as far as in the coaching aspect is around purpose.
Okay. Now, who was your mentor as far as coaching is concerned?
So you know how Wendy Williams say she got a friend in her head? So I would say I had a mentor in my head, but I was grateful to actually have met him before he passed away, and that's Dr. Miles Monroe. The other kind of tagline in my business is we do life and leadership unapologetically on purpose. And so that leadership, between purpose and leadership, they my heart. That's what I'm about. And yeah. And in mentorship, like I actually have written frameworks around mentorship for different organizations, but he so much embodied like not just purpose and not just other aspects, family, marriage, all those different things, but at the core of who he was and what he talked about was about leadership. And so I literally became a student of him. And so, a lot of times when they say if you can't ever meet the person or can't ever afford them either, you become a student of them by, if they have books, if they have online courses, classes, and all those various things, go that way so that you can learn what you can. So first and foremost, he was definitely a mentor, but as well, I'm the type of person, I've had mentors throughout my entire life. And so they coached me and they've helped me along the way. And so I take something from each piece of them. So like, I've had coaches and mentors since I was in basically fifth grade, which a lot of people are shocked that I say that, but I have. Like, I was in a mentorship and internship program in fifth grade. And so that's probably why I love it so much. But each person, whether it's been a person that's been on my job and they may not even been a manager, they may not have been a what people would quote unquote call a leader, but I saw the leader in them and I wanted to eat and just sit up under them and try and learn as much as I could. I got that coaching from them. I got that mentoring from them. Then, if there's any that, had a title as well, I've gotten from those experiences. So I pull from when and however I can get the opportunity to get the experience. But I was formally, if you will, trained under in life coaching under what's called Light University. So I actually went and did classes, not in my regular degrees, but some more schoolwork. And then, as
so you said regular degrees. How many degrees do you have?
I'm a nerd. If you had to pick that up, I just said I had a mentor in fifth grade and an internship, so catch it. I'm a nerd. I'm a whole nerd.
Okay.
I have 3, and then I had to put a pin in my doctorate. I had to pause for a minute. Some life kept happening, and life was like, girl, you're going to have to hold up on that doctorate degree.
Yeah,
I have
yeah. So that's your question. So I hear you saying that you're a nerd, but you just went to get 3 degrees because you wanted to get 3 degrees or because you felt like you had to prove something to society, to yourself? What was the reason to get 3 degrees?
So I'm an avid learner. So that's why I said I went to school and, did, got training and education and learning for the the life coach certification as well. So I'm a person that I'm an avid learner, period. And so if there's an opportunity to where not only it helps me learn, but I can leverage the opportunity for my career or my business, I'm going to do the same as well. So yeah. So it wasn't necessarily society. It was just and then I guess also just being proud of the fact I was able to do it. I was basically the first person amongst my grandmother and her kids and grandkids to have a degree, and I was not the first grandchild. Okay, so I was the first person in our family to actually even have a degree and graduate from college, and so just to know that I wasn't just doing it for myself, I was doing it for my cousins and their kids and different things to show them we can beat this, stereotype. We can beat this generational thing that's been blocking us. We can do this. It might be hard because financially, oh my God, that's a whole other story. It was not easy, but
right.
It wasn't for society. It was for myself. Like I said, I love to learn.
So did you find that once you attained your degrees that men were intimidated by your level of education, or that was never a problem for you?
You actually bring up an interesting point that brings me to an actual conversation. My husband and some of his friends, it's kind of in general, we've kind of talked about off and on for a while because I see it. I still work in corporate America for my day to day. And, as a minority, a double minority, I don't see the opposite gender as much at that level. And so just as much as I'm fighting the glass ceiling, you guys are fighting the glass ceiling as well. So I don't believe there's any intimidation. I think it's more or less I wish there was dual representation for what we're all worth, and we actually could see it, in our everyday our everyday life. Because, actually, the statistics and feedback after, oh, well, we don't know where to go, or we're not able to find in this skill set or this education. It's not. It's like, well, where are you going to look? Like, where are you actually going to look and
right.
see and actually find them? Because they're there. You have to give them the opportunity and chance, and not, do this whole nepotism and do this, well, I'm not sure if they can handle it. How you know? You know what I mean? So, it's not any, inferiority or intimidation. It's more or less, I want to see us all win. And I want to see us all, if you want to do the corporate America thing, I want to make sure that I can see you there just like I see me there. If you want to do the business thing and do your own, I want to make sure I can support you as well. And so, my husband and I actually are both corporate America and also entrepreneurs as well.
Very cool. For years, I would sit around the table, same thing in corporate America, and look and see that there were no other African American men or women around the table. And I used to think, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I the only person that's sitting around this table? And I remember having a conversation with a family member who has done well in corporate America. And I asked him a question of, there was one instance when I did have a incident with another brother that I was working with, right?
Okay.
And I went to him for advice, and I said, hey, like, how do you deal with this when it comes to us? And he looked at me, he said, I don't know, because there's never any of us in the room at the table, so I have no advice for you. Sad but true, but that's the world that we live in. So I don't, even today, I just do the best that I can. I mean, they have the whole theme of diversity and inclusion, and but it's more like it's just like a statistic or like a mark for you to say that you're doing it, but are they really doing it is the question. You know what I mean? So, and I've met some people or some women where, then the reason why I asked the question is, Dr. Bowers that I had on a couple of shows before, she has 2 doctorates. And, her point was to prove to corporate America that, no one in the room is going to be smarter than me. So she wanted to get 2 doctorates. Lo and behold, if you listen to her story, even after having 2 doctorates and being the COO of the largest hospitals in Michigan, they fired her, and she has yet to been able to find work, even holding 2 doctorates and being a person of color, So I just find it as a real interesting conversation where we have to work harder to get to certain roles. And then no matter how much of a degree you attain and how much status, if they want to strip you of it, they can take it all from you, which is why it's so important for you to have your own.
Correct. Absolutely. I'm definitely a person that believes in streams, not just one, but multiple streams of income, multiple opportunities, not necessarily working yourself to the bone, but just making sure that you're using and doing everything. And one company, well, actually, not just where I worked before, but just period. They know me from being the person that will say, use everything that is available to you. Use everything, because you don't know how long you're going to be there. You don't know what your next situation may be. You don't know what you may need down the road. And so just because it doesn't look like it's what you want to do now, use it, figure it out, make it work. And I actually, I've lived this and known this and done this before. But like I said, I've had those mentors where they've been bosses as well that become mentors and lifelong mentors and friends thereafter. And this particular position, it was a contract position. It was for 1 year only. That's it. Okay. And she told me, she was like, this is what it is. I know you overqualified, but this is what it is. If you want it, it's yours. She was like, but what I'm going to tell you is this. This may say that it's 1 year, but it's on you how you work this thing. She was like, it's 1 year, but if you show and you use every opportunity that's available to you, and you show them why they need you, because as a contractor, they're not paying me. Who they have the contractors, can say they need or want me for another term. She's like, you let them know. Oh no, you'll mess up if you let her go. And so it was one particular project that I had while I was there, that I had got like towards the tail end of it, right? And I did not like it. Ooh, I did not like it at all. But I had to remember what she had said. And it was, the crazy part about it was that little project that I ended up doing helped to land me my, I went from contract to term. That little particular project ended up landing me my term position as a civil servant. And I still value that, and I give people that feedback. Number one, you might not realize or even think that it's gonna matter that thing because it don't line up with what you're doing or what it don't make sense. But I guarantee you, it's coming out and it's showing up for a reason. And then the other piece of it that I tell people is, okay, so you might want to go, you might be ready to go, you might be ready to leave, but before you go, they got brown bags, they got lunch and learns, they got classes that you could be learning Excel, PowerPoint, leadership skills, soft skills. Some of them even have it to where you can sign up, and some classes that even can teach you how to run a business. Do all this on their dime.
Right,
Period.
right, right.
They actually want you. It's some of it. A lot of my job, it's been a requirement for continuing education and different. Do all of this on their dime. Use it all. Even if you don't want to be here, let them pay you to help you to get to where you're going to next. So that I'm a very avid person in that you don't have to let them dictate how you feel and what you do there. You get everything else, and you just come in and let the provision work, and you do everything that you need to do to get you where you're trying to go next.
Very good. So tell us about the books you wrote.
Sure. So the first project I did was called Mind Matters. And basically it was talking to you about getting out of your head and jumping back into life, because literally we get stuck. I mean, you get stuck. It can be a day, it can be a week, it can be months, and then sometimes it could be years. And it could come from things that are devastating, trauma, tragedy, all those different things. And so as a person that experienced that, I actually ended up initially, it wasn't a book. It was just me getting back to writing, because I had taken a pause in my writing, and it was me just getting back to writing and kind of just literally I was saying to myself, I want somebody that if they ever feel like this, they can know what to do to help get out of their head. That was like, that's all I was saying to myself. Like like when I first wrote it, I wrote it on my cell phone. So that's how I got started. But basically, about 5 years later, I just knew it was time to publish it, and so I started working on it to clean it up and get it together. But I just wrote it from the standpoint of I wanted you to know how to get out of your head, and then if it's somebody that cares about them, sees them, but they don't know what to say, because a lot of people can say the wrong things. They can say, snap out of it, it ain't that serious, get over it, blah, blah, blah. And that can be something that could make them spiral and go worse. So I wanted also to kind of just help them to be able to figure out how to talk to them, how to approach them, how to really be there. So each project I do a book and something to help you get and actually do the work. So I did a journal with that. It's called the Get Your Mind Right Journal. The second project that I did was called Things My Mama Said. And how that came to be is because in my blog, Talking with Tanya, I was always talking about like something crazy. You said you heard my accent from the South. So not only am I from the South, if you or anybody of your followers are from the South and they know anything about East Texas is the country, okay? And so not only am I from the South, my family is from East Texas. So they got a whole bunch of just crazyisms and sayings. And you like, I don't even understand what that means, but okay.
So give us some of the sayings, like break it down to us.
So one of them was, can't nobody beat you being you. That's not bad. But another one was, you don't believe fat meat is greasy.
I'm sorry? You don't believe fat meat is...
It's like, wait, what? You don't believe fat meat is greasy. Your face is priceless.
No, explain it. Like, you don't believe fat meat is like, what does it mean?
Okay. Well, fat meat obviously is greasy. Fat meat is like, so you have bacon. And the fatty part of the bacon, you typically not supposed to eat that, right? And so different cuts of meat, there's gonna be that fatty part. And generally if you cooking it, that's the part that's the greasiest part. A lot of times it's the renderings and you don't need oil because the meat is going to create its own oil because that fat meat is greasy. And so the reason she would say that, or a family member would say that to you, is because you trying it. Basically, it's the East Texas version of saying you trying it. Like you really trying it right now. Like, okay.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on. Like
Okay,
you
okay. No, okay. I'm still putting it together. Okay. What's another one?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I can't even think. Like I ain't even have to think about it. Like she just be saying stuff. Like I don't even know. Um, like my granny would say, keep living. And I would be like she would say it like you would say something like, "Oh, Granny, why you do this or why you do that?" And she'd just respond back 2 words, "Keep living." And you'd be like, "What?" Like, but you didn't answer my question. You
Mm,
ignored me. Like, huh? But it would be basically, if you're saying like, so for instance, one thing I think one of the stories I said was, my granny would be like, I have to be home by a certain amount of time before it gets dark because I can't see late. I can't see dark. I can't see once it gets dark. I can't drive late at night. But she wouldn't say that whole story. She would just,
right.
if you ask her, can you come to my, play at church or whatever, and she'd be like, well, what time? Oh, okay. Now I can't come. And then you'd be like, well, why you can't come? She's like, keep living. She's not gonna answer none of the other part of it. She's gonna say,
Mm,
keep living. And
okay.
so basically, it was just saying one day you're gonna be having the same revelation that you can't drive at night. And the reason you can't
Right.
drive at night is because you're getting older and things are changing and maybe your eyes aren't as good, or maybe, you get tired fast and you go to bed earlier and you have to change. What you did at 20, you can't do at 40. What you did at 40, you're not gonna be able to do at 70. Keep living. And so
Gotcha.
yeah, it would be a whole message in 2 words.
Okay. So because this is so interesting, give us one more. I'm just so amazed.
Oh my God. I don't even know if I can think of one off the top of my head. I'm looking trying to see if I see one of my books on the bookshelf. Oh God, let me think. Oh gosh, let me think. Well, so the one I said before, can't nobody beat you being you, was basically growing up, like I told you I was going to work out. So I've always been a little chunky my whole life, right? And so, in addition to being a little chunky, and then I'm at a smaller weight now, so my face is not as round as it normally would be. Like it would be for
Right.
real round.
Right.
And then I have a flat nose, and so one of the things my mom taught us growing up was to appreciate who you are and just flow with your flaws and not worry about trying to change or appease or be like somebody else. Just be you. And so, in that, I have I have this flat nose. This is a signature nose. This nose right here. I have a huge family on my mama's side. That's how they can actually, they say they can tell if you one of ours because they gonna look at your nose and they say, oh, that's a McAllister nose. Okay,
Right.
okay, yeah, you one of us. And so growing up, it would be easy for you to try and talk about me and say, oh, you got a round face, a pancake face, a flat face, da 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 da. And so because she taught me at an early age, can't nobody beat me being me, you wasn't gonna be able to, and this probably an old word, so you might catch my age. You're not gonna be able to high side or come for me and say nothing bad about me because I already know who I am and I'm good at who I am. And
Right.
so now you can't beat me being me. You can't talk about me. You can't come for me. You can't do none of that because my mama taught me who I am and I'm proud of who I am. Good, bad, and different. I'ma love me, I'ma float, and I'ma be fine. Period. And so
So,
that was like one of the things I
but
would say.
with you saying that, and that's such a powerful message, and we look at social media and we see quite a few people that have that demeanor that says, you can't come for me. But on the flip side, there's so many people that suffer from mental illness and depression just from the sake of looking at the highlights of what other people are doing. What would be your advice to people who are becoming depressed from being surrounded and looking at the fictitious lives of others?
I mean, so the first, just to even add to what you you said the flip side of it, where that it's so hyped up, so hyped up. Part of her teaching us and telling us that was just number one, self-love. Like, love you first. You can work on, if you can work on losing weight, cool. But if you never lose weight, you still got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, sir. I love you, ma'am. I love everything about you, even if it's not the best of what you would want it to be. I still love you anyway. And so that's what it's about. And so, I actually I say it all the time, like, part of the reason, so to tell everybody, I was originally in my workout clothes, and then I had to ask Mr. Tommy, was we gonna be on video? Because I was like, wait a minute, hold on, my workout clothes not cute, and so I put on at least something, little Brandon. Hey, gotta do a little Brandon, and
Right.
little something. But that's it. Like, if you see me on social media, you you're not really ever going to see me like dolled up unless I have to do like a major speaking event or something like that. Outside of that, my regular Monday through Friday videos, I'm gonna have on some lip gloss. That's about it. Like, that's it. Like, and then sometimes if I'm not pre-recording and I go live and I just get something I need to say, you are gonna see me in that workout clothes, sweat still probably dropping, and just a whole hot mess. But hey, I want to make sure I do my job, which is to motivate, encourage, and inspire you. And so, if the advice I would say is love you first. Like, a lot of them, they might not even love themselves, so that's why they put so much effort and time to it. But even if they do, that's cool. But you can't measure your life, your status, and what you should be doing and looking like based upon somebody that you ain't ever met. You don't know. You only know what they show you. You only know what they tell you. You only know what they advertise to you. And they could be a whole hot mess. Like, it's a song Mary used to say, and I liked it because it was, you could just vibe to it. The God in Me, but one of the verses when she says, what they don't know is when she get home, she hit the flow, and basically, like, just almost like a relief for who I got through it. Like, they look at it like she look all together and everything, but not realizing that's just what she's trying to show y'all, because something else my mom was say, and it's not even in that book actually, but there's a part two that I'm working on. Well, she would say, sometimes when you don't feel good, and when you don't feel like you, sometimes you don't have to put forth effort on the outside so that you can not show and tell everybody what's going on the inside as well. And so that's, sometimes as well. So yeah, some days you might want to step it up because you might not be feeling good today. You might not be feeling it, but that doesn't change the fact that you need to go do what everything and everybody else is saying, like self-love. Like, it has to start with you loving you, because you can have all the clothes and you can have all the Louis Vuittons and Jimmy Choos and all the money and all the Ferragamo and all of that, whatever, Champion, whatever, Adidas, Nike, Jordans, but you can still be a whole hot mess,
Right.
and not
Right.
and not be good anyway. So before you try to be mad that you don't have all of that first, let's just get you good and let's work on you and start that. Like, we need that. Before we can start on the whole wardrobe, let's start on working on you and making sure you good.
Got you. So going back to your first book, when you're talking about living inside of your head,
Mm-hmm.
what had you trapped? What was going on in your life to where you were stuck in this particular moment that you were trying to get out of?
Well, it wasn't a moment, Mr. Danger. It wasn't a moment. So I'm by nature an introvert, which a lot of people be shocked if they know, like, they see me on social media or they see me speak or whatever. I'm by nature an introvert, which they don't believe me, and I'm like, okay, go ask somebody that know me for real. They be like, yes, she is. Um, and so because of that, I'm always thinking. I'm always, I'm just, and then the nerd piece of it, I'm always reading. I'm always thinking. I'm always analytical, strategizing, blah blah blah. But so that's why I say it to say that's how I can easily um let one thing, not one thing, how things can pile up, if you will. But basically, I literally at that time was going through racism on my job, and I was going through major health issues. And it wasn't that I haven't had major health issues since then, but I was away from home. I was newly married. I was in thousands of miles away. No family nearby, in sight, whatever, nothing. And I don't even. I think we had just got health insurance, so I had just got a job. So because I didn't have the resources or whatever to tackle some of the health issues. But then I also was younger, so I didn't know a lot of things. One of the things my husband actually has said was that he didn't know I would actually be as sick as I was. And I was like, well, neither did I. Like, I don't think anybody could have prepared me for how sick I had got and how fast I had got sick. So that was really stressful. And so that, like I said, newly married, thousands of miles away from family, very sick, dealing with a stressful, racist person at my job. And then, strapped financially. Like I said, we relocated there, I had to, he was there already on the East Coast. I relocated, and so I had to find a job. So I was literally unemployed for 6 months because they told me I was overqualified. Remember what you talked about earlier? They were like, oh no, so I could resonate with Dr. Bow when she said that. Yeah, they were like, you're overqualified. I said, but I can get a job. Like, you won't even hire me, and I'm telling you I'll do the work. Like, that's crazy. Like, I already know I got to get a pay cut, but they would not, because they said that because we know you're overqualified, how do we know that you're going to stay? I said, why do it matter if you need somebody to do the work? And so that was an issue, because in that when I had moved, it was the start of the financial crisis and the real estate crash. Well, what you don't know is, yeah, my husband and their family own a real estate company. So it was crazy. So it's just, everything just became too much, and I just could not, I couldn't. And so
when did you realize that writing was therapy for you?
In therapy, I believe I wholeheartedly believe in going to therapy and counseling. So I'm an advocate of it. I do life coaching, but I tell anybody, I'm not the therapist though. You still need to go do the work and handle some of that old stuff with the therapist. I can help to coach you and strategize to where you're trying to go, but they need to help you if you still need to work on some of the stuff that you can't let go of, if you will. But yeah, so just kind of in therapy, because like I said, I recognize and I know, Tanya, hold on, you gonna need to go talk to somebody, And so I had started going to therapy and counseling. We had did some here and there, kind of in church, maybe kind of a couple of sessions. But no, it was a lot, and I needed to unpack it all. And so I just really started realizing part of the problem was I was not using my outlet, and writing had been an outlet for me. It's not the only one now that anymore, but it's one of them, and it's a major one. And it's kind of like how I breathe. Like, for writing, it's like how I breathe. And people like, how did you think of that? Like, what was on your mind to even see that and talk about that? And that came out of just this one thing. I don't know, but it did. So that's where it went. And so I literally just began back writing again. Like I said, I had no intention or expectation that the first project, what I was writing then, would be a book now. But I know it was a God thing, and I know he was orchestrating it all and using it all. So that's, like I said, what I tell anybody: use it all. Use the good, the bad, all of it, because it's all a part of your story. And one of the things people ask me when I talk about the book, the first one, and they kind of hear how it happened and what we went through, is they're like, "Well, would you change anything?" And I'd be like, "No." And they were like, what? I was like, yeah. Like during that time, me and my husband went through 6 bouts of unemployment or layoff in 7 years. Yeah, your
Wow.
face kept, yeah. That's what I said. And people like, you wouldn't change anything. I was like, no. Like every job, everything, every position, it played its part. Like there's stuff that happened at one thing that if it would have never happened, a situation wouldn't be what it was today. We wouldn't have met these people. I wouldn't have been here or there or whatever. Like it was all for my good in the end, for our good. So no, I was like, I wouldn't change it.
So, so when your husband was unemployed, it didn't put a strain on your marriage?
I said, yeah. I
Did it?
said all of it. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All of it. Yeah. It was rough. It
Okay.
was rough. But what I tell anybody is that um we pro we probably uh learned more about how to survive than people that's been married 30 years. From hardship and major illnesses and loss, devastation, a lot of that, depression, anxiety, everything. We learn more and can say and encourage people because we been there, so they be looking at us like y'all don't even look that old. We are, but understand some of the stuff that you saying, I'm telling you, you can get through it. Like I'm not telling you, how some people just say, "Oh, it'll be all right," da, 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 but they ain't never experienced it. No, I'm telling you, you guys can make it. You can work it out. You can get through it. And I'm not telling you something I don't know. I'm not telling you something I did not live. I'm telling you that you can do it, but you guys have to both commit to it and own it and say whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
yeah, it
So
was
when you
it was
particularly work with clients, how long do you, as far as coaching is concerned, do you set up like 3-month sessions, 6-month sessions? Like how does it work?
so I have a variety of different packages. It kind of depends on what we're working on. Like I don't think it makes sense for me to have you as us doing regular, if you will, maybe for 3 years, 4 years. But would it make sense that we have a relationship, that long, or that you check in or I check in with you? Absolutely. Or that we work and we were coaching every day for let's say 6 months, but then you come back a year later and you got something else going on, or you want us to help, work on strategize this, so kind of work and coach through that. Yeah, then we can start back up. But I think, more or less, I'm gonna check on you regardless. That's kind of my style. Like I'm gonna check on you, and especially the way I flow. People be like, "Wait, how you know this was going on, and how you knew to check in and call on me?" And I'm like, that's just how I do. That's how I flow. So, but
Right.
I have a variety of coaching options, some of them a month, we might just work on something, for a session. I kind of
Right.
just have the options. And then from there, like I said, that's why the whole first one, where it's just kind of the consultation is important. So I can know what your needs are. I can figure out what makes sense for you, and we can kind of go from there.
Got you. So what's your favorite comfort food?
See, sir. So I guess it's two things, which I am I have said that I'm not gonna fool with right now because I'm trying to be good. So cookies, I got a strong problem with cookies, but I have an even harder problem with candy, specifically fruity candy, because I can't really do chocolate. But yeah, Skittles, Starburst, Jolly Ranchers, Lemon Heads, I have a whole problem. I can eat
Okay.
a
Okay.
bag, and I'm not talking about the individual, a whole bag.
I hear you. I hear you.
Not a
So what is your why? What is your why? When you wake up in the morning, what is your why?
purpose. Purpose. It goes to a lot of people hear me talk about my mom, but I also talk to my dad about my dad as well. And one of the things, he's a preacher, pastor, apostle. He been that since before I was born. Feel like what it was. But one of the things he always told us, and kind of why I've been doing what I've been doing since I was 16, and before that, was because he always said, "You have no idea what you not doing, what you need to do affects other people, and you not being where you're supposed to be, and you not being in position, and you not saying yes." Like, when you don't say yes, you holding somebody else up from getting their breakthrough, their success, their opportunity, their coaching, their leadership. You can't you have you can't be not where you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be, because you have a responsibility. And as um a child, I learned that very early. And I held that I have a responsibility to fulfill my purpose, because my purpose is tied to so many others. And if I'm not doing my purpose, I'm missing my responsibility. That's my why.
Gotcha. Thank you for tuning into Motivation and Confidence, where we help you do your daily best. Like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Check us out on various platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Overcast, Castbox, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, TuneIn, or Alexa Media.